Hey Shooby-Doodlers, how are you doing? It's the brand new TourBox Lite. It's not actually much lighter, but it's certainly lighter on your pocket. I have been sent the new TourBox Lite, and if you've been following me for some time, you'll know that I have been using TourBox Elite for about 2 years probably, and this is it. It's a little neoprene thing on the knob there. This is the TourBox Lite. This is the very latest model from TourBox. What is it? It's what your left hand is for. So you got your keyboard and you got your mouse in this hand, and this hand is just doing nothing. You may be using this hand for shortcuts on your keyboard, but you can take all those shortcuts and turn them into buttons, so you don't have to remember what numbers and letters and function codes are. You just remember this is a scroll wheel, and that will make the screen go up and down. And this is a knob, and when you turn it in Photoshop, actually I'm not using Photoshop anymore, I'm moving away from Photoshop. I'm going to Affinity, which is much cheaper, and that is why you might want to get a TourBox Lite, because this is much cheaper than the other TourBoxes that you can get. TourBox say it's the best controller under $150. You've also seen recently that I am quitting Adobe products because they are so expensive, and I'm going over to Affinity Photo, Publisher and Designer. If you were to do the same, 2 months of Adobe savings will get you one of these. I've been using the TourBox Elite for some time, which is this one, which is slightly bigger, a slightly weird outline shape, and they're pretty much the same. This one doesn't have a side button. I'm not bothered. I've never used a side button, actually. What that does is when you press the side button, then it changes what the other buttons do. Now, we've got here scroll wheels, so they're the same, and that I use for scrolling up and down. And I mainly use this knob in the middle here for changing brush sizes. Oh, that has just saved me so much time, not having to do little sliders up and down. You just do that and the brush gets bigger and smaller. It's worth it just for that. This little wheel here has disappeared, and I use that for rotating the artboard so that you can, get different angles while you're drawing. But that's okay because you can double assign this top button here. You can assign it so that when you press the tool button, then you can rotate with the finger, and that will rotate the artboard. This button's the same. Those two buttons are the same. This little section here has disappeared. I use those for changing tools, but that's okay because now I'm going to use these buttons for changing tools, and you can modulate them, as it were, by pressing that, and they become different buttons. And you can, if you want more, you can press the smaller button and it will change to different tools again. The Tour button here has now moved out here, and honestly I've never used the Tour button either. I don't know why it's there, what it's for, and honestly there isn't a manual that tells you anything about it, so you've got to go online and kind of do a bit of searching. But I'll show you how it works in action now. But before I do, they sent me something else as well, which is the TourBox travel storage case. Why would you need a travel storage case for a thing that sits by the left-hand side of your keyboard all day long? Well, maybe you want it on the left-hand side of your laptop, and maybe you're the kind of person who's zipping around and doing stuff here, there, and everywhere in hotel rooms or around at your friends. And, well, this is quite delicate. And this knob on the top, I think it could easily get knocked about in a backpack. So if you really want to protect your investment, there you are. The TourBox Lite travel case is going to protect it for you. And you've got a little place there to put your cables and stuff like that. So let me show you how it works in action. So the first thing you want to do is download the TourBox console. And then when you plug in your TourBox, it should recognize it and bring up the TourBox console. This is where you organize everything. When you press on one of these buttons, it will highlight and scroll and top button and twiddle and all these buttons. It will highlight down here in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm not good at left and right. So the scroll wheel has got commands added to it, which I'll zoom in and zoom out. And when you press it, you've got another command, command +1, which returns the zoom back to the original size. Basically, you want to go through your app and think, these are the shortcuts I use the most. And you just type in those shortcuts to each button. And how do we do that? So we're going to go to the tool button, and you can do the tool button twice as a double click. So I'm going to go to that. So if I press it, double click, it will go to the 2 times double click. So I'm going to come to this, and I'm going to set this as command copy, which on a Mac means copy. You'll do control copy on a PC, I think. And we click OK. And then the button next to it, I'm going to do a double click too, which has already got something. But anyway, so I'm going to do command and P, which is which is obviously paste. So let's see what happens when we now go to Affinity Photo, which is the photo editing app I'm using now, and see how all these buttons work in action. So we've got a nice clean page here. So first of all, I'm going to click one of these buttons here, and it changes it to a brush immediately. It's a boring black brush, so let's change it to something more red or something like that. And we can change it to that as well. At the top button, I can change the foreground and the background. And if I double click, it will go back to the original black and white, which you frequently want to get back to. If I press this other button next to it, it changes it to an eraser. Maybe I want a bigger eraser. I just twiddle that knob, and look how satisfying is that. No special things to press. It just works. It's fantastic. Now I can change that button by pressing the tool button and then pressing it again and click on there, and it's the magic wand button. Just like that. You don't have to search for things. It's just there. Press the tool button and the other button there, and we've got ourselves the lasso button, just like that. Do you remember I assigned these 2 buttons to copy and paste? So I'm going to press the one button, the tool button. No, it was a double one, wasn't it? So I've done a double, and I can hear that has copied. So when I do a double on the short one, we should get a paste. Oh, no, it's gone to print. Paste is V. Of course it is. It's because I'm having to think about it. You just do it without thinking, don't you? So I'm putting a V in there. Okay. so you could press it to print if you want. If you're printing all the time, you just have one button to print. So if I double click now, there we are. Look, just like that. There is your, it's doing all sorts. So now if I deselect that and I double click, yes, look, it's pasted that, and it's a separate object on a new layer, which is just what we want. Come down to here, we're going to go to magic wand, double click to copy, double click to paste. There's the double paste. That is just how easy it is to assign shortcuts that you use every day to these wheels and buttons and knobs and twiddlers. Let me assign the last one there, which is the Tour button, which I don't know what that is. So we'll get rid of that, and I'm going to assign this to V. So let's say I'm on the brush button. Let's choose a different color just to so we can see what's going on. And I'm still on that layer there, and I bet a green. And if I press the Tour button, it's going to bring us to the move tool, and I can move everything that's on that layer. And it's just as simple as that to get back to the move tool, which you would normally press V on the keyboard for. TourBox have pretty much thought of everything, but you might think I could really do with something that uses the Tour button and the Tool button and use the 2 together. So we can come down to the bottom to the custom section, create an action, and I'm going to press the 2 together like that. So you can see we got a combination, Tour button, Tool button. That sounds confusing. And we're going to save that. And it's not set, so I'm going to save this to H for the hand. So when we come back to Affinity and I want to move things about, I can go to the hand and I can move the whole board around like that. And simply going from the Tour button gives you the Move tool, Tour button, and the Tool button at the same time gives you the hand. It's just really, really fast. I think I'm really set up now. So that was the TourBox Lite. It's slightly smaller than the TourBox Elite. It doesn't have Bluetooth, only works with a cable, but it is much cheaper and much more affordable. It doesn't matter what program you're using, Windows or Mac, you will find things that you can assign to these buttons which will really speed up your day and make it just that little bit more enjoyable as well. Honestly, I just really love using my TourBox, and I'm not being paid to say that. I just want you to know so that if you've ever been thinking of getting one, I can thoroughly recommend it.